Hey there! Welcome to Retro Reloaded. I'm your host Lance, and each week I tackle a retro game shaped by your picks. If you want a chance to choose next week's game or unlock exclusive bonus episodes and polls, join me on Patreon at patreon.com/retroreloaded. There's even a free tier to dip your toes in. Big thanks for all of your love and support. It means the world to me. Now let's hit the start button and reload those retro vibes.
Uvijek gori vatra ljubavi, duša u sjaju puna snage, vječni plam, nada u...
History of Vandal Hearts. Released in 1996 by Konami, Vandal Hearts was one of the earliest strategy RPGs to hit the original PlayStation. Developed by Suikoden creator Yoshitaka Murayama, it stood out for its fast-paced, grid-based combat and streamlined gameplay. While overshadowed by giants like Final Fantasy Tactics later on, it remains a beloved cult classic with its distinct art style and unique tactical flair. Plot of Vandal Hearts. Set in a world torn by revolution, Vandal Hearts follows Ash Lambert and his companions as they're caught in a conflict over the legendary Vandal Hearts, mysterious relics tied to the fate of the continent. Betrayal, political intrigue, and epic clashes define this journey as Ash and his team struggle to uncover the truth and bring peace to a land teetering on the brink of chaos.
All right, with all that out of the way, we got two new guests today. Brand new guests. Our first guest is going to be Drew. Welcome into the show.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely glad to have you. And our second guest is going to be Rough Knight. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Heck yeah, man. So both of y'all are Vandal Hearts fans. And so I'm not sure how much experience you have with the game. I don't know if you guys have like beaten it multiple times or you beaten once. I got to, just for clarification for the audience, I got to about the point where Diego is meeting up with his family, and there's a whole thing about family business, and they're about to do some stuff with that. So I think it's about 2/3 to 75% of the way of the game. I wanted to complete it all, but I was like really grinding like towards the end of the week, and I just could not get. I thought it was closer. I really did. I thought it was a lot closer, but I was a little bit further than I thought. But yeah, this is an interesting game. This game gave me a lot of like Final Fantasy Tactics vibe naturally, you know, because this is a tactics JRPG, so you're gonna get some of that vibe going on. However, there is some differences. But before we get into all that, I kind of wanted to get into your guys' stories about like how you got started with Vandal Hearts, like how you know, your experience with the game, like what it meant to you. And let's start with Drew. Like, could you kind of tell me a little bit about your history with the game?
For sure. So I found Vandal Hearts in my freshman year of high school, which is the game came out in 1996. It was probably 98 or 99 when I found it. And it was a game that my best friend had, and we were, you know, kids at that high school age at the time. So I would spend the night at his house. He would spend the night at my house. And one night when I was over there, he passed out early on me, and I was like, oh, let me try this game out. And then I played it for like 11 hours straight.
Oh, wow.
So hooked me in right away.
Wow, 11 hours straight. So you were enthralled. Like the moment you picked it up, you're like, this is the game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm a power gamer anyway. So if something like gets my attention, I'll just burn a whole day in it.
Nice.
And Vandal Hearts is like really deceptive because it's one of those games like looking at it visually, I didn't expect to get pulled in as hard as I did. And then the sun was coming up and I was like, oh, I should probably do a nap about this. That's crazy.
I've had a few games. There's been a few games in my life that have done that to me where you're just like so into it. I mean, and you just don't really notice how tired you are, but you're tired, but you don't care. And then all of a sudden you see that sun coming up. You're like, man, I messed up. World of Warcraft did that to me a lot.
Yeah.
That was a big one.
Yeah,
So
Suikoden.
Suikoden. Oh yeah, that's a big one.
Suikoden,
And that's interesting
Um,
because you brought that up because I know Suikoden is like very closely related to this game in a way, not
Yeah,
story
in the
wise.
first, in the CD,
Konami.
in the case for the first Suikoden game, I think, yeah, there's actually promotional for Vandal Hearts in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're both Konami games. Yeah, Suikoden's my
Hmm.
favorite franchise of all time, so I feel you there.
Wow,
Hmm.
that's a franchise I actually haven't had any experience with yet. So I'm kind of hoping
Oh my
that's. I know. I'm a blasphemy right here. I'm hoping that somebody's going to like put it into the retro roster at some point and I can play it. But right now it's not in there. I'm sure it's going to eventually get in there. Somebody's going to be like, yeah, you got to play this game because it's super popular. There's how many Suikoden games are there?
There are 5
Five
mainline
numbered?
Suikoden games and 1 spin-off that is
Well, there
related
is a
to
few
the
spin-offs, like
There are
one
2
canon
spin-offs that are
spin-off, and
Yeah, so
I mean, what
Suikoden,
does Sumagoreshi count as? Like, I mean, I know it's a spin-off, but does it have a canon to the story? I know it's the
No, it doesn't.
multiverse, but
No, it doesn't. So the only one that's got a canon spin-off, Suikoden Tactics, is a prequel and sequel to Suikoden 4. And there
Yeah.
are 5 mainline games. And then there
Yeah.
is Suikoden Tierkreis, which is the
Yeah.
DS game that is fully unrelated to the main series. And then Suikoden Web of Woven Centuries, which is their PSP spin-off, which is unrelated to the main series.
oh, and there's also the Game Boy spin-off as well, the card game.
Yeah, Suikoden Card Stories,
Yeah.
which was only released in Japan, and not a lot of people had played a version of it.
I just remembered Guidance 1 and 2, which is just like, that is canon though, Guidance 1 and 2, but that's just,
They are-
I've
They are,
never played
but
it.
they're just they're visual novels. So you
Yeah,
just
they're
play through
visual novels. True.
Oh, okay. So there's a lot of
It's a
spin-offs,
very deep series.
but there's like 5 main games, I guess.
Yeah, there's 5 core games. So when you play the games, everybody always recommends the 5 core games and tactics,
Okay.
and then you can do the rest if you want to.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah. So that's interesting. That's good to know for the future because I'll probably maybe go through those 5 main games at some point. But I know they're long games, like they're JRPGs. They're going to be long.
Oh yeah, they're traditional JRPGs.
You know. Yeah. So Drew. So you played it for 11 hours when you were young, and then you got the game later on, and you just played through it multiple times after that, or how'd that?
Oh, I've probably beaten it 7 or 8 times at this point.
Okay.
It's one of the fallbacks I go to. I come back to Vandal Hearts, Arc the Lad, and Suikoden almost yearly.
Did you 100%?
Oh yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
I'm a completion. I have to 100% or it'll bother me.
Yeah, I thought so because I know there's missables in this game, which is actually going to be one of my points later on. But yeah, missables are something that happens if you get to a certain point in the game and you can't go back. So that happens.
Right.
So you got to be very vigilant on doing certain things and like talking to certain people and making sure that you don't miss these things. So Rough Night, let's go into your story. Like, how'd you get started with Vandal Hearts?
Mine is a really interesting story because I didn't actually play it the first time I saw it. I was just, it was a vague memory of mine as a kid, like where I'm just watching my brother play this game. And when I say vague, it was clear enough that I know what game it was because it had this scene. When you see the visual style of Vandal Hearts, you know what it is. I'm just watching my brother playing this game where these characters on a plane, they're isometric and they're at a boat, like they see a boat and there's water all around it. And there were different scenes as well when I'd walk in on him playing. But all of a sudden, years later, I'm either in my late teens or early 20s because I was starting to play more JRPGs from the 90s at that time. And actually, that's when I started getting to Arc the Lad as well. Like it's funny that he brings that up. Yeah, and Vandal Hearts, I start playing Vandal Hearts, and I'm thinking, damn, this is an awesome game. And then I get to that, and I'm like, oh, no way, I remember this. No way. it was the coolest thing ever knowing this game that I wanted to know what it was. When I started playing it, it's not because I'd known it was that. It was just dumb luck that I got into it. But, I mean, not dumb luck because I love JRPGs, but it was so cool being able to find the game that I wanted to play after years, and it more than lived up to the experience.
Yes. Wow. So that actually happened to me too with the not Vandal Hearts, but it happened to me with Earthbound. I had played a game like I didn't know what it was, when I was younger, and I was like enthralled by it, like the RPG and like the whole storytelling with Earthbound. And we had it as a kid, and it was actually, I think it was like a super expensive game back then. I think my parents paid like $100 in the 90s, which was like 1990. I want to say it was like 95 around that time. And so
Earthbound?
Yeah, when I played it
was out of production at the time.
Huh?
They pulled it out of production at the time. That's why it was so high.
Oh, okay. So there you go. Yeah. They pulled it out of production. So it was very rare. It was very expensive. My parents got it, and I was just like, I loved it. And then I think my babysitter stole it. She stole the game.
What?
Yeah, I know. She got fired. She got fired right afterwards. So
Okay.
yeah, she got fired. It was a very sad moment, but yeah, she was young. She was maybe in her teens, 16, 17 or something. She stole the video game, and I didn't know what game it was. And so eventually later on, I kind of found out it was Earthbound. I was like, oh yeah, this is that game. So I know what feeling you're talking about. So I just kind of wanted to relate to you on that, because I do know that, like, whoa, okay, wow, this was that game,
Yeah.
So I had no idea what it was called back then. But so you guys both have lots of experience in Rough Night. You said you've beaten it multiple times as well, and 100% and everything.
I've beaten it a few times, but never 100%. There was one time I was tempted to, but I didn't end up going through with it because I don't know why I didn't even go through with it actually, because I was still having a great time. It's one of those games that I think when I started to read up on how to actually get the missables, I didn't look up properly how to do it. It was kind of like a rush thing, because I was just really more playing with the story. Like I was just like, yeah, I just am having a great time. But that was a very different mindset to what I do now. Like now I'm the kind of guy, like I'm playing Rebirth and I'm at almost 150 hours because I've got to at least do some like semi-completionist kind of mentality for it. So if I played Vandal Hearts now, I'd probably 100% it.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's certain games that but it's very infrequent. There's certain games I get really enthralled and I have to 100%, but it's pretty rare. Like it's very rare for a game to me to be like, yes, I got to get everything in this game. Because usually when I complete like the main storyline that has the most meaning, I kind of feel like good enough on a lot of these games, because especially with storytelling games that like that's like the main concept. That's like, for me, that's like the big draw, is getting through the story. Other games that are just super fun, then I'll go and do the 100%. I've 100%ed a few of the Chrono Trigger, a few of the Final Fantasy games, and I'm trying to think of like what else I've done the whole 100% thing on. I can't think of it at the top of my head, but it's pretty minimal. It's not very often. So let's go into the story a bit. I don't know if one of you kind of wanted to volunteer for this portion, but basically I just like maybe one of you can give me like a high level abstract of kind of what Vandal Hearts is about, because the story in this game is important. So I just, want to kind of get it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to go for it?
Well, you want to do this true? Like,
who's doing the honors? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can take it. So cool. Vandal Hearts is it's a politically driven story, and a lot of those are very touch and go on how they are. This one is it kicks off with you just start working against an authoritarian. In the game, it says an authoritarian right wing anti-terrorist group who is taking over the government of the main character's country. And without getting into too deep on spoilers, although you had like 30 years to play it, so get after it, guys. But
Exactly.
Without going into a whole lot of spoilers, everything just spins out of control while you're just trying to save your country from an authoritarian regime trying to take it over.
Yes.
And we go to the cliche JRPG fighting the king and god to save the day.
Yeah. You always do that. You always have to do that.
If you don't fight God, it's not a
some like, yeah.
Yeah. And so you follow these this group of individuals. They're like they start out as people that are working for the government, right? They're kind of like a portion of the government, like a specific group, like they're a specific team, and I forget their names.
So the heroes team is functionally like the city guards. They they guard a particular town, and then they run up against a group called the Crimson Guard, who are like the federal government functionally, like they work for the emperor.
Okay, so they're more like
very
local.
murdery.
Yeah, very murdery.
The bad guy's name is Hellspites. See if that tells you the kind of bad guys that you're dealing with.
Yeah. The Crimson guys, you realize early on that they're bad. I mean, it's like in the second or third mission, you're like run into these guys.
Literally mission 2.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay,
Very
these guys are bad.
I have to admit, I love the color of their outfits, though.
They are pretty cool looking. I'll give them that.
Oh,
like, the Crimson guys look pretty cool. The leader's kind of like a cliche bad guy that doesn't care about human life or anything. He's like he's just kind of out for himself. But the story starts to get deeper. That I realized that there's some deception that kind of goes on later on. There's some betrayal. There's some things don't seem what they are. Like you kind of start out on this mission and then eventually you realize it's kind of something else. And it's a very cool game in that, and it opens up as you go on with a lot of JRPGs, but it opens up and with some of these tactics games, the story's kind of like secondhand. But funny enough, one of my favorite parts of this game was the story, even though it's not like I don't consider it to be the most like in-depth story that I've ever played or anything.
Mm-mm.
But I think it's good, and I think it's good for what it does, especially within its time frame. I
think Vandal Hearts is one of the earliest tactics games out there.
It is.
Yeah, considering it's like
it actually
the
doesn't have
first or second in the
Final
genre.
Fantasy
It does. Yeah, it predates Tactics by 3 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's actually kind of a revolutionary game because it was also one of the first on the PlayStation. One of the first games to. Obviously, it wasn't a launch title, but they weren't but it was one of the earlier games to come out on the PlayStation.
Yeah, the only tactics game I can think of that's roughly the same age is the first Arc the Lad.
Okay.
Yeah, Arc the Lad was. Yeah.
Wow. And I haven't played Arc the Lad either, but I did look that up and I saw that Final Fantasy, because I was wondering, I was like, which one took after which? Like did Tactics come after or before? Because Final Fantasy Tactics is probably the most famous tactical JRPG like ever.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was going to say maybe other than like some Fire Emblem game, but that's about it.
Yeah. So
Vandal Hearts. Yeah,
Vandal Hearts came out in 1996, and Tactics came out in 1997, and we know that because 7 came out in 97, and Cloud is in Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah,
that's funny. I didn't know he was in that game.
Yeah, he's a recruitable character. You can have him in your army.
I would definitely have him if it was me. I'd be
That's why 100% games.
But with Vandal Hearts, I feel like if we're talking about the story, what I love about Vandal Hearts, without this is I don't actually even want to tell people this because I think it's. But what I will say is the opening itself is one of the most iconic moments. Not just the opening theme. I think the opening theme with the music, the singer, and that's amazing on its own. It's so surreal. You don't see games today that just have this real abstract opening. And even the way they use the title screen, it's just, it really is a product of its time in a great way. But the way the game starts, almost like they're telling you this tale, well, not almost, they are telling you a tale in their way. But then it opens up with the cinematic for the first mission. The way it opens up, and I don't want to spoil it, I want people to, if they haven't played it, even just for that scene alone, it is an incredible way to start a game. And I think that also was something I remember as a kid, seeing my brother. I think I did see that scene for the first time at that point. It's one of those moments that really sold the game to me. This is the game I want to play.
Yeah. So you feel like it had a really strong opening, like a really good intro?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing that gets you with Vandal Hearts intro is it's fully voiced in an era where that was just not a thing.
Wow. Do I remember it being voiced? Why don't I remember that?
I don't remember it being voiced.
Yeah, it's voiced. It's got voiceover.
Version?
I just recently played it. I played it in preparation for coming on, and it's got it's the narrated intro.
Oh,
okay. Narrated intro. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, for a second I was like, are the characters voiced? I was like, did I miss something?
No, the game's not voiced. It's the cutscenes are, and that's in a frame of time in '96 when voicing in games just wasn't like a thing really yet.
That's true.
Not to the point where it is now.
Yeah. I would say like if there was, it was kind of like it did what this game did, where like they did like maybe a narration. But yeah, most games didn't have like any voice because the quality. I mean, first of all, the quality before the PS1 era wasn't that great. Like there was like voice lines you would hear, like people would say like fatality or something like that, in Mortal Kombat or whatever. Right. But it wasn't like a fully voiced thing.
Remember, there's actually a game, I've seen videos about it before. It's an infamous example where the voice is like, hello, I am, like, it's like real weird voice acting. It wasn't a 16-bit game, but the voices are just like terrifying.
Yeah, they're very they're just not very good, so the voice quality was bumped up where they could do narration, and they could do, I think, some games. I'm trying to think of like games that did fully voice acted during the PS1 era. I don't know of too many, but I know they really started getting into that more. Mega Man Legends was pretty much fully voiced. Well, not fully.
Oh yeah, I love that game.
But every cinematic had voices in it, and actually not bad. Really not bad in that game.
Actually, there was a Mega Man game before Mega Man Legends that did have voice acting.
Really?
And it was a Mega Man game. It was Mega Man Battle and Chase. Actually, I can't believe I get a chance to say that game's name in this. But yeah, that game had, in the Japanese version, they introduced the races. That was for the PS1. And they also, the races themselves have voices when they attack, and but like if we're talking about like actual, like there's actual narration, not narration, introductions, and I think there's an announcer that calls the race. I think from what I've heard, I think the announcer's actually calling the race.
Yeah, I can see that. Just like a little bit, like little voice lines here and there. So let's get into some of the fun questions that I think would be kind of interesting for you to all answer. And we'll start with you, Drew. Who's your favorite character and why?
My favorite character is Grog Drinkwater. Love Grog. Partially because I'm very deep and interested in Viking history, and Grog gives very big pirate / Viking vibes. Yeah. So that always pulled. But I love his story of, he's lost everything, and this guy comes to his house and he's like, hey, I need you to do me a favor. And he's like, well, how about this? How about you go wipe out these pirates for me? And then when you go to wipe out the pirates, that's when you find out who the captain really is.
Yep.
And it's such a nice little twist. I love Grog to death. He's great.
I actually like Grog a lot too. I think he's great. I think he's a super cool character. He was one of my go-tos, one of the characters that I liked using the most.
Yep.
And I love that his last name is Drinkwater, because he's drunk when you first meet him.
Yeah, because he doesn't.
Yeah, he literally just drinks booze.
Yeah. He's great.
He's great.
He's got a great design as well.
Oh yeah, with his hair everywhere. I love him. He's so funny.
And he's that class. What's that class that he is? He can transform into like one of those guardian guys.
He starts as a soldier. At level 10,
Yeah.
you can switch him to swordsman or guardsman.
Yeah, I think I turned him to a guardsman, and he is so cool looking. He is like super cool.
Oh yeah,
He's
you can't, and he's like
as well.
impossible to kill into a guardsman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, what about your favorite Rough Knight? Who's your favorite and why?
My favorite, I wish I would say it's for his story, but I gotta say my man Diego has always, I mean, it's between him and Ash, but I gotta say Diego, I love the bandana. I don't know if it's the Suikoden fan in me, but I see a bandana guy, and also he's got some personality, and I'm just like, yeah, I love Diego.
Yeah, he's got flick vibes for sure.
Yeah.
He's he's so cool, but yeah, that bandana, I can't get over it. It's just so cool as well.
He got you with the bandana, man. Yeah. He's cool. I like you said, he's kind of like, he's a little bit lighthearted, and he seems like he kind of likes to joke around a bit, right? He's kind of, I don't know if he jokes, but he just seems kind of like a laid back character.
He's got a bit more of that comic aspect to his character that he lightens up that journey. Like, he's got that way of making things not feel as bad as they are. Like, it's just, even with the whole family, like, even with his personal story, without getting into it, like, I don't know, there's something very relatable about his story as well. Like, even just, like, there's, like, yeah, that's what I love about him. He's got that noticeable aspect in his character, but also the relatability.
Yeah. I think a lot of people also agree with you on that, because when I was on the Reddit asking about people that, like what they thought about the game and stuff like that, Diego came up a lot. People were like, oh yeah, I love Diego, so it was a very common character for people to like. As far as my favorite character, I don't really know. Maybe if I had to choose, I mean, maybe Grok could be up there. He's up there. Ash is all right. I'll tell you who I don't like. That chick with the bow. And I mean, you know why. I'm not even gonna mention why. Yeah, I'm not.
That's fair. Fair.
That's fair.
I don't like her. But yeah, I'm trying to think of the whole cast of characters off the top of my head out of people I liked. Yeah, I mean,
What do you think of Clint?
of who?
Clint?
Oh, the second command guy.
Yeah.
He's all right. He's not. I feel like isn't he missing for a part of the game? Like, he's not in part of the game. I feel like there's a part of the story that he's just not there. He's okay. I don't know if I got really attached to him. I just
liked him as well because he reminds me of those, like, defensive types. Like, he's really, like Grog, he's tough to kill.
Yeah, you could also make him a guardsman.
I think I made him a swordsman, and I made another person that came in the guardsman. I can't remember who that last person is, because you get another Dolan. Is it? Dolan.
Yeah,
I think
Dolan.
I made him the next guardsman. I made Clint the swordsman, but he was so weak. He was like underleveled for most of my games, so he just got kind of wrecked. And, yeah, he wasn't really. I don't know. He was.
Yeah, Clint and Diego work as like characters that people get attached to easy because you start the game with, you have them the longest.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah.
And then to circle back on Diego very briefly, I do find it funny that he's a comic relief character, and in his character art, his bow has a scope.
I actually didn't realize that.
Yeah, his bow has like a magnifying glass attached to it, so you can use it as a scope.
There you go.
And he just works. And I will say, thankfully, in Vandal Hearts 2, this isn't really a spoiler, because you actually will know very early, they do keep up the tradition of having characters that, while in a serious story, can actually reasonably make you laugh. It's not like, oh gosh, they've gone for a joke here. It's like, oh, that was good. I like that. Like, it doesn't feel forced. So, yeah, props to the writer for that. That was, yeah,
Yeah.
great to see the game.
Without going into maybe too much spoiler stuff, what was the toughest battle for you? Is there any way you could say that without maybe ruining the story?
For sure. So for me, I'm a perfectionist and I want to do all the things. I want to get all the treasure chests. And the thing that makes Vandal Hearts challenging is you can get too strong. So in Vandal Heart, every character counterattacks when they're hit with a melee attack. Every time. And if you're too strong, you'll wipe out the enemies before you can get to all of the chests. And it also makes the first battle of Chapter 2 much more difficult if you go out of your way to get too powerful. Because that's the one where you have to stop the villagers from being possessed.
Dude.
But if you let them catch you, you will counter kill the whole village and fail the mission if you're too strong. Yep.
You know what's so funny that you said that about that? I was thinking of the toughest battle, and that's the first one that came to my mind. That was the first mission.
I hate that battle. It's the most annoying battle in the game.
It's because I had to redo it probably like 5 or 6 times, I think, before I like figured out the strat. Because there's a specific strategy to the map. It's not just like go and do your thing. If you don't follow a specific strategy, you're gonna lose. Some people said they beat it without killing anybody. Have you done that?
I've done it once. It's really hard. The only reason that I did it, so when I play on my emulator with my files, and there's a website that attaches to my emulator called Retro Achievements, which adds like PlayStation style achievements to retro games. And one of the achievements for Vandal Hearts is to get through that battle without killing any villagers. So, and it probably took me like 8 or 9 attempts to go through and not get hit by anybody. Because if they hit you, they die immediately.
Yeah.
Because they have like 11 health or something silly.
Yeah,
it's crazy difficult. Crazy difficult.
I don't even know how you do that. You probably have to, I would assume you have to like lead them all down a certain route, all the villagers, and then you kind of have to like take another route.
So what I do is when I start, I take out the very first 2 statues that you can reach with Kira and Diego. And then I go around the back of the house so that it baits the entire village to go the long way around the house to follow me. And then you kick the boxes and you can go and get out that way. And you have enough movement to stay away from them to stay just barely out of their reach while you finish off the rest of the statues. But it's, if you make one wrong move, they will hit you and they will die.
I hate it. Yeah, at first I was like, is there a way to turn off this like auto attack thing? Because I was like,
nope, that's the worst. I was like, I don't want to counter for this fight. Just hit me.
You guys would not then want to play Vandal Hearts 2 the way I play it. Because in Vandal Hearts 2, if you're going for the whole, like, you want max amounts of money and all that, like, that game will actually punish you for going perfectionist style. So,
Vandal Hearts is a series is notorious for punishing perfectionists.
Yeah, it does. It's with Vandal Hearts 2, it's only because its biggest reason is because, like, battles, it works a little differently to its predecessor in that you actually move simultaneously with the AI. Like, you both make your moves at the same time. So both characters are moving. When you move towards an enemy, they're moving one of their pieces, like one of their troops, and you've got to hope it's not the one that you are going for.
Right.
So it takes a while to get used to. It took me a second playthrough because I stopped after the first chapter, but I did a second I did a second go, restarted because I loved the story to 2. Came back and I'm like, nah, I love this game. I know the battle system's frustrating me, but this story is peak.
Out of curiosity, do you prefer 1 or 2?
Oh, that's hard. Like, look, I love 1 with a passion, even though like it has been some years since I played it. So some of my memories, I do. When you say about the villagers and the zombie part, like I remember that being difficult. I also remember the Blood Knights and the Crimson. Oh my gosh, see, this is so hard. Like, but yeah, the Crimson. They how you have to escape from them. That was actually pretty scary. Even though I didn't find it necessarily as hard, I do have to admit I was intimidated by that. But I say that just to answer two questions in one stone, to say about which I prefer. Like, Vandal Hearts had memorable moments like that where I was really intimidated.
Yes.
But as intimidated as I was at times, or like how haunting it could be, Vandal Hearts 2, to me, has my favorite, actually, I would say my favorite story in a video game. And I've played many a video game. Many. And Vandal Hearts 2 has my favorite story. Like, it doesn't mean it's objective, it's subjective, of course, but I love Vandal Hearts 2's story. The visuals, like Vandal Hearts 1, I prefer its visual style. I love the animations and visuals of the original, and I do love the characters, but 2's story is incredible. Like, I've never experienced anything like it.
Okay. Yeah, I asked people kind of like what their favorite was on the Reddit, and it wasn't very definitive. There was people that were like either one or two. Like, there was different things they liked about both. What about you, Drew? You got a favorite?
I'll be very honest, which is uncharacteristic of me to do this, but I have not played 2 yet. I need to very desperately.
Okay.
So I mean, if I had to pick right now, it would be 1 because I've played it 100 times. But I have to get into 2 before I can really make a fair assessment.
Yeah, that's fair. Completely understandable. You know, I also wanted to kind of bring up the point, because we already kind of brought up Final Fantasy Tactics. Final Fantasy Tactics and Tactics Ogre are 2 games that are kind of like set the standard for tactical JRPGs. Now, out of those, have you guys played either of those games, both Final Fantasy Tactics or Tactics Ogre?
Oh, I played them both.
Okay.
I wish I've played them, but I haven't been able to get around to them. There are so many games where people say, this is the iconic RPG, you got to play this. So I found myself with an incredibly big backlog. And don't shame me for this, but I still haven't gotten to Chrono Trigger yet. I've actually played Sea of Stars before I played Chrono Trigger.
That's funny.
I'm not gonna shame you because I'm the Suikoden Andy. I haven't played that one yet, so I don't have any foot to stand on. So otherwise I might be like shame, but nope. I haven't played the Suikoden. So I'm curious, Drew. Like, what differences does Final Fantasy Tactics or Tactics Ogre have compared to Vandal Hearts?
So one of the big things with Tactics Ogre and Final Fantasy Tactics that you don't have to deal with in Vandal Hearts, that I think is a plus for Vandal Hearts side, is as you gain more members in Vandal Hearts, everybody's on the map at once. You get to fight with all of your units, and there is no permadeath. In Tactics Ogre and Tactics, you have to choose between your people. You'll have like 8 or 9 slots where you can get in. Now, to be fair, Tactics Ogre and Final Fantasy both get a much larger pool of characters to choose from than Vandal Hearts does. But you're limited on the number of characters you can take in, and when they go down in those games, if you don't get to them and heal them within a certain number of turns, they're just dead. They're fully permanently removed from the game. Yeah, it's heavy stakes with those 2 games. With Vandal Hearts, like, if Diego goes down, all right, he's out. He's immediately out, and I can't heal him and bring him back, but he's not gone. I get to use him again in the next mission. So with those 2 games, there is a very big risk of a character that you've invested a lot of time and energy into getting them where you want them to be, and now they're just gone, and all that time and energy is out unless you want to reload. Vandal Hearts doesn't have that issue.
I had no idea that happened. I played. I don't know if it's the same in Tactics Advanced. It might be in the same. But I was kind of young when I played Tactics Advanced. I didn't play the original Tactics, but I didn't. Honestly, dude, this is maybe a bad take, but I didn't really care for Tactics Advanced that much.
Tactics Advanced is not that great of a game. It's very okay. If you just really like playing tactics games, it's a great game. If you want it to like stand on its own, it does okay.
Yeah. It was one of those games that I kind of had on the Game Boy Advance. It was just like a game that I had to play, and I didn't really have anything else to play. So there I was playing Tactics Advanced, and I beat it, and I was like, all right, well, I guess that's that. So
if it helps at all, Final Fantasy Tactics is in no way as complicated as Tactics Advanced. They don't have like the cards and the rules, and you can't do this during this combat. That's not in there.
Oh, cool. And I heard the story's better.
Yep. The story is phenomenally better. And you're coming into these games at a perfect time because you just got the Suikoden 1 and 2 remakes, and Tactics remake comes out in September.
I know. I saw the graphic style to the Suikodens on the remakes, and I thought it was super cool looking. I love that too, like the 2.5D thing that they got going on.
Yeah. I just platinumed Suikoden 1 and 2. So
remaster?
It was
wow. So they're really good.
Such a phenomenally well done update. And I
love the additions.
I've been a fan since Suikoden 2 came out. Like I paid for it in the store the day it launched. So to have that remaster come out and be that faithful, it's perfect.
That's awesome. I love when they do. Go ahead.
Sorry, but
no.
Then we became Suikoden fans around the same time because my brother tells me I was about 8 years old when he brought the first Suikoden home. So I was born in 91, and Suikoden 2 came out worldwide in 98. But I think it was in 1999. This is, like I said, my brother, because I asked him, so when did you bring the first game home? And he goes, I think you're about 8 years old So he brings home the first Suikoden, and I'm just thinking, oh, what's this? Because I was used to like Mega Drive games still. Like I was playing on, as you guys would call it, the Genesis. And we had a PS1, but I was still playing a lot of both in a way. I was playing both. But not anything major for the first PlayStation, like not RPGs. I was just playing games that kids my age were playing, like the licensed games, all of that kind of, and other stuff as well. And my brother brings home Suikoden, plays the first section of it, the very first part for a few minutes, just seeing what the game's about. And I'm just sitting there in the sewing room watching him play it. And I'm just like, I love this. I need this. Like, so he didn't even end up playing it. He's just like, he just wanted to see what it was. You know, those games you buy them and you think, oh yeah. For me, I'm just like, yeah, okay, this is mine now.
Well, it's funny because the part that got me into Suikoden, which I don't mean to like deviate too far off the point of the episode, but the thing that got me into Suikoden was almost the end of the game. I came in on my dad's best friend playing it, and there's a portion of the game, without too many spoilers, where you have to ride a dragon to a different location. And I came in on the scene where the dragon is taking you to the new spot, and I was like, "You can ride a dragon in this game? All right, I'm gonna have to try it." And then once I started it, immediately hooked.
Yeah. And it's all from Konami. Like it was that golden period of time. Like Vandal Hearts and Suikoden. People talk about Konami not being the RPG company, but
they used to be.
Yeah, they could do it. Like they definitely.
Once upon a time, they cared about their gaming department.
Yeah, it's funny that Suikoden has like been so much part of this episode because that's the Reddit subreddit that I got the most replies about Vandal Hearts was on. It wasn't even like the retro gaming subreddit. It wasn't the
that's when you found me.
Yeah, that's probably where I found you, Drew. It wasn't the there was like a PSX subreddit. It was the Suikoden subreddit, and that's probably why we keep bringing up Suikoden is because these games weren't exactly the same exact team, but they're both by Konami. at around the
Yeah.
same time. So they get really, they get coupled together a lot.
Yeah,
So
they really they promoted each other in a way. Like, it's almost like you couldn't play Vandal Hearts without playing Suikoden.
Suikoden. Yeah.
yeah.
A lot of people found out that Vandal Hearts existed in Suikoden boxes and vice versa. They advertised each other.
Yeah. And I think that's what Rough Night actually ended up saying early on in the episode. So out of curiosity, let's go back to some Vandal Heart stuff. Which of the class promotions do you love the most? And we'll start with you, Rough Night, this time.
Oh, me? Okay. Oh, I want to say anything by the Ash Lambert classes was like when I saw, I think it was Paragon. Like when I see all those kind of names and the flashy armor, and even the way the portrait would change, I'm just like, Ash Lambert, you're so bloody cool. I love you. But if I have to go non-pro tag here, non-pro tag, even though I love Diego, it wasn't like the Archer classes were really what I loved them, but not as much as the Monk was pretty good. Like Ninja was cool, but I'm trying to remember what class it was where you had like bronze looking armor. Like I know it's one of the guard. I don't know if it's guardsmen. There's one where you can like look like a real full on bronze knight or something.
Maybe it was Guardsman.
Is that guardsman?
I think it's I think it's a level 20 elevation for guardsmen. I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called, but
because
you take a guardsman from 10 to 20, they upgrade again.
Yeah, because I love the look of that armor. I'd have to say between any of Ash Lambert's class upgrades, that one, like I just love knights in armor. Like ever since I was a kid, just one of the coolest things.
It is very cool. I think they're the coolest looking class in the game, the guardsmen so far. What about you, Drew? Do you have a favorite class promotion?
Aside from the Vandal Heart, which is Ash's last one that you get above Paragon if you do all of the side stuff in 100% of the game. That one looks amazing. My favorite to play with, I love Hawk Knights. And it's probably because like I was a kid. And I'm like, what's a Hawk Knight? Listen, I get to fly now? That's dope. Love that.
Yeah, that was pretty dope.
Yeah, they're very fun. Like I heard people told me they're underpowered, but they're like super fun to maneuver. Like you just fly around the map, go anywhere you want.
Oh yeah. So the problem with Hawk Knights is not that they're underpowered, it's that they're extra vulnerable. Like they still hit just as hard, but towards the end of the game, the developers put like a high emphasis on archery units. And archer units do 1.5 times damage to Hawk Knights because they're aerial.
Yeah. The Hawk Knights, I would have to maybe agree that might be my favorite promotion. The Guardsmen are my favorite looking one, like you were saying, Rough Night. They just look so cool. Like Grog in that armor just looked so dope. And I mean the archer, I also had some I don't know what the archers are called, but like there's the archer promotion. Maybe they're called Ranger or Archer.
Bowman.
They were all right. They're fun to play. It's always fun to shoot people from across the map.
For sure. Yeah.
The sorcerers were just OP. I felt like sorcerers were super strong.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't very fun though. I didn't find them like enjoyable to play. They were just could do AoE damage to everybody.
Yeah. Sorcerers are so powerful that it doesn't make sense mechanically why you would turn a mage into a monk. If you have the option for sorcerer, always sorcerer.
Yeah.
I only went monk because I just thought it looked cool. Like I love that mentality of me as a kid. Or even not just as a kid, I played it as actually I was in my 20s. What am I on about? Okay, in my 20s. Which is still technically a kid, a big kid. I don't know, I had this mentality that, okay, I don't care about practicality. I just want, like, I love the design. If I like the design or it's like, ooh, a monk. That sounds cool. Yeah, that was pretty much my mentality. 34-year-old me just like, practicality. practicality.
I do like monk classes in other games, so I feel that. Like, monks are usually pretty cool classes, but it's too bad that they were just like kind of crappy in Vandal Hearts comparatively to the sorcerer. You know, I'm sure they're still viable. They're just not the sorcerer class. So
Don't they become ninjas? Or is that thief? Or I'm trying to remember. No, not thief. Monks do become ninjas, don't they?
Yeah, monks elevate to ninjas level 20.
Yeah. And ninjas were kind of cool.
Are ninjas,
pretty good?
are pretty
Yeah, ninjas are pretty good. They're just, the problem is you have to take that character and you have to choose monk instead of sorcerer. So if you have like a healing character, I take monk over bishop. But even as a ninja, there's nothing you're gonna do against to do out the same damage potential of a 4 to 6 square AoE attack that misses your allies and hits all the enemies for like 80 damage.
Can monks heal?
It's just crazy good. Monks can heal, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was curious because I always went the bishop route, so I was worried that I wasn't.
So if you switch from a healer to a monk, you maintain your healing spells. You just get physical combat.
Okay, cool. Because I was like, man, I'm not giving up my healing. No way. I need that.
Yeah.
I would
and then
lose
if you
like
ever
every battle.
if you ever go to 100% of the game, you have to make sure that you take at least one character down each path because they give Ash access to stuff in his final class for every class you've unlocked.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's good to know. Maybe my next playthrough, I'll try that. I'll have to follow a guide though, because there's certain things, you know,
for sure.
So let's see if you could cross Vandal Hearts over with another series, what would be some like cool cameos or like cool features that you would implement into Vandal Hearts? And we'll start with you, Drew.
I'm a Suikoden head, baby. There is a Suikoden Tactics game, and it does it very, very well. I would love to combine Suikoden into Vandal Hearts. Anybody who knows Suikoden will know a couple of the characters I'm going to list off. Flick would be fantastic. Victor would make a wonderful swordsman. Any of the main protagonists as like I wouldn't want any of them in as like a permanent character because at that point you're going to outshine Ash. But they'd be great as like a one battle cameo spot because the main protagonist of Suikoden would be ungodly powerful in a tactics environment.
Awesome.
Odessa would be great to have in. Odessa is a character Suikoden 1 fans know very well. They would, as a community, love to see her show up in more stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Popular character.
For sure.
What about you, Rough Knight?
Oh, this is... Okay. We're talking about something that could... Okay, there's nothing I could come up with that I would say is thematically consistent, like... Because even though I know there are games like Breath of Fire and all, like, I know even fighting games have gotten tactical, tactics games, like, with Street Fighter, isn't there, like, Namco crossover with Capcom, like, there's a tactics game for that. So, a lot of the ones I could think of could be, even Wild Arms has XF, which I have not played. But if I just have to go off the bat, because I was originally thinking Suikoden, but I'm like, I think Drew's gonna mention, because it's like, how can you not put Suikoden and Vandal Hearts? So I'll go with Wild Arms, just because there are characters in Wild Arms that, with a crossover, they just have awesome abilities. Like, I just love... I mean, okay, Cecilia would just be like any of the mages. Mm-hmm. Even though she actually is more of a unique mage because she has unique abilities. But Jack Van Burris and Rudy would add an element to the game that... Like, since we already have some, like, characters like Diego who can snipe people with a bow, like, there's that, what the heck? This is, set in a time period that's definitely not the modern age where you do that. I'd imagine you can have a character, like, with, like, Rudy, who's got a hand cannon, who it's like, oh yeah, special ability, bang! Just, like, smash someone, like, well, not smash, like, just, like, pull out a gun. Well, I've got a bow, I've got a gun.
Nice. I haven't played Wild Arms, so...
Final Fantasy Tactics.
Huh?
And
I was just saying, if that's the vibe you want, if that's the vibe you're going for, you should definitely play Final Fantasy Tactics.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there would be gunners. Like,
Yeah, there are guns and tactics, and it's a limited number of classes. But in the PSP remake they did, and it'll be in the new one that's about to come out. They included Balthier from Final Fantasy 12, and he just comes in with a gun.
That's awesome. I love
That's
it.
funny. That's funny.
But Jack Green Burris would also be awesome, like I said, because he just has cool abilities without getting too deep, because it's not even really a spoiler, because it's just what his character does. He's got quick draw, so he can do all kinds of sword moves that like can steal. Like he can like strike in a certain way. Like I reckon they could make a move like where you can move a certain number of spaces and maybe like dash through the enemy or summon a meteor, or not summon a meteor. Actually, yeah, I think that is one of his abilities. But or even just using his wind mouse hand or wind rat, however they said, hand pan, like you just like I just feel like there's a lot of possibilities there.
I feel it. All right, so moving on into the review portion of the podcast, we're going to go over the good points that I felt when I played it through the week, the bad points, and then we're going to go over my mixed feelings on some of the things that were neither good or bad. So, I always like to warn I don't actually do this, but I probably should start doing this. I always like to pre-warn my guests that there are going to be some bad things I say about the game. So, some people are hyper fans and just get ready, there's also good things, like anything. So let's start with a good point. I always like to start with good points before we move into the other stuff. So start with, I appreciate the art style. I think, and maybe I should put maybe in the mixed, but I like what they were going for. I thought that the art style for Vandal Hearts was kind of interesting and cool. I like the cartoony like vibe to it. I think that they did well, and I think it was really great. I think the only complaint I had about it was that the resolution was a little low, and that's part of the times. It was just part of the era. However, it was like kind of pixelated, and sometimes it was hard to read at certain points, like certain text and stuff. So I did have to make certain adjustments to kind of make it more not hurt my eyes. It kind of hurt my eyes a little bit, but I liked what they were going for. I liked what they went for, and I think with the a newer generation, or maybe even the next game, it would have been like perfected in a way. How do you all feel about that?
I can address like what you said about they have been perfected. As someone who's played Vandal Hearts 2, I know there'd be Vandal Hearts 2 fans who probably would disagree with me on this, but I wasn't as much a fan of Vandal Hearts 2's art style. Like, it didn't feel as cartoony as the original and, like, less color. So, but as for Vandal Hearts, I love the art style. Like, as you said, like, the cartooniness, it just hooked me right away. Just so much color.
Yeah, and what about you, Drew?
So the art is probably one of the points that is probably got the most reasonable contention, right? Because like I love the art style, but I came in when it was a new game. I've been playing games since 1990. So I remember when they looked much worse than Vandal Hearts does. If you come into Vandal Hearts now for the first time, it's probably going to be rough to attach yourself to that art style.
Yeah.
I personally think it's very charming. I love it. One of my very favorite things about it is the kill animation in Vandal Hearts is so ridiculously over the top.
Yeah.
Every time you kill anyone, they just erupt in a geyser of blood. And that's the funniest thing about the game, easily for me.
And it's also the most famous thing. Whenever people talk about the game, they're like, hey, did you know in this game, like one of the main attractions is when you kill people, a lot of blood comes out.
It is
the geyser.
That's the thing.
And then it's even funnier when they go to when NPCs get killed off camera, like when they chase them off and you can still see the blood spray coming off the side. Yeah. I'm like, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy that's happening.
Yeah, I do like the blood in it. I like games that don't shy away from blood, that are I like because it makes it feel more real in a way. I mean, don't get me wrong, the blood fountain is pretty ridiculous in this, but it makes it feel more real when characters bleed. You're like, it's like, oh, they're dying. And so the art style was something I appreciated, and I'm glad what they went for. I think I just wish it was higher res. With the emulator, you can do that, and you can actually widescreen it, and you can make the pixels more legible. But just the base game, it hurt my eyes. Like, legitimately, I was like, dang, my eyes are hurting from like looking at it. But I like what they went for, and I think it was a very good. So I guess the main point, what I'm trying to say, the style was great, the resolution wasn't. I guess is basically my point. And the blood spray is great. I'm glad they put that. I love like when you kill somebody and they just, just
the sound.
It's great.
They just geyser blood. It's like more blood than is in that human body we used to.
Yeah, they basically explode. So it's awesome. All right, so one of the bad points I had in this game was the pacing, and this is kind of maybe it's more of a point on tactics games. I'm not really sure because I haven't played a lot of tactics games, just a few, but the pacing felt a little slow sometimes. Like I wish the battles were probably about like 30% faster. Like I feel like the monster turns took a long time. So like you would take your turn, and then the monsters would be like doing their thing, and you would hear that little song that they always play. It's like the same song. It's like the same song they play for every battle. They could have changed that up. I mean, I don't know why it had to be the same song, but it was like, so you'd wait for your monster's turn. So I found myself speeding up the game through the monster turns, like, because you're sitting there, watch the monster take a turn for like 3 minutes, dude. It's like, it's crazy that you have to do that every time.
And it happens a lot with Vandal Hearts because the monsters outnumber you so frequently.
Yeah, and there's so many. There's so many monsters. If you only had like 5 monsters, or like maybe even like 7 or 8, it probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. But I don't know how many are there on the screen. It feels like there's like
some of the battles. There's like 25. Like some of the battles are huge.
Yeah, and so you're just listening to this song, just watch it like the whole time.
Yeah, but this is yet again another thing about Vandal Hearts. Like, I don't know with other tactical RPGs, but Vandal Hearts, yet again, in 2, yet again, you're outnumbered. And because of that game actually having slower paced battles, it's like, wait, and we move simultaneously? I don't know, Vandal Hearts, it's like they got the first one and said, hey, yeah, we outnumbered people. Now we'll actually add in other things to make it slower.
Yeah. So
I think know, Vandal Hearts,
just needed to be sped up a little bit. That was, that's pretty much it. I don't know if you guys kind of feel like it was maybe a little slow at points. Just like go ahead.
So one thing I'll say, what helps with most other tactical RPGs is you don't get that sensation, even though in the world of tactical games, Vandal Hearts is on a very small map.
Yeah.
And it's actually pretty fast paced overall. The thing that makes it feel slow paced is that you do all of your characters in one turn, and then they do all of the monsters in the other turn. And in every other tactics RPG I've played, there's a speed stat that goes into each individual character. So you and the computer are alternating who goes when. So it doesn't feel so monotonous and slow paced and long.
I think that's probably what it is. I think you're just taking less time in. So even though the battles might take about the same, or maybe in Vandal Heart battles could be faster, I think it's just the fact that you're waiting for your turn, like after you do it, you're less like,
you're waiting for like the length of a full army, and that's what really makes it feel slow.
Yeah. How many? So out of curiosity, how many units are on the map? So not just enemy units. So in Vandal Hearts, do you know how many people you have on your team?
1 second, I got you.
Because it kind of feels like a lot, but I'm not sure.
It is. You have 12
Kira, Ash.
Yeah, you have 12 player characters on the map at once at the end of the game.
Okay, so 12 characters.
Okay, 12.
So 12 is above average, I think, for a tactics game, or no?
It's about average, I would say. Most of the other games where you have like the limited number of characters, most of those battles, you get to choose between 8 to 12. for your units.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. So
yeah, that
I-
sounds about right.
I know you were saying earlier, Drew, that like this is something you actually liked about Vandal Hearts is that you get to keep all your characters and you can use them all at once.
Yeah.
Mhm. I almost would prefer if it was like 8 characters on the map, and maybe that's too little, but I just wanted to kind of like I don't know. I just didn't want to control so many units because you get like what 2 or 3 archers, then you and this is because they promote and you get like different classes, and I get why they do that because you want to have like one of every class or maybe even 2 of a certain class, and so. But I just kind of wanted to control like less units, maybe even have less enemies on the map. But this is a preference thing. I'm not going to even say that this is like a bad thing. This is just my personal impatience of like wanting to get things done and move things along. And most people don't have this issue that I have because it's just me being me. But I would, if I would probably tune down the number of units a little bit. Now let's go into one of the good points. The class system. I actually like the class system in this game. I think it was very it was simple enough, and it was very easy to understand, and each class felt unique in its own way. They felt like they kind of did their own thing, and it was cool. I liked it. I was like, yeah, all right, cool. Well, how do you and we'll start with you, Rough Night. How do you feel about the class system?
I love it. And look, of course, I love the abilities, but the main thing I loved about it was just going and getting the class upgrade. I'd see my character on the screen, I'd see their portrait, and I'd just say, it's like, okay, which class do you want to become? And I'd just see these options. And no RPG's ever really done that for me. And no RPG since has ever replicated that feeling that the original Vandal Hearts gave me of just getting a class upgrade. Other games have had class upgrades, but it's like this sacred moment. It's like, okay, you must choose wisely. I'm like, and see my character upgrade and their armor looks even more awesome than before. It's like, I love this game. I love this system. I want to see more of this. And then seeing them in battle where they'd have a new skill that you can get, it felt like a genuine progression of the character. Because it's not every day in a game where you... I guess it's hard because, you do get to see evolutions of characters, but there was something so unique about it. It felt like it was moving with the story, like these characters are growing and changing. There's this new aspect to them that we now get to see.
Yeah.
So I personally loved it.
Yeah. And what about you, Drew?
I think one of the best things about the class system with Vandal Hearts, because it is pretty unique in the idea that like you have to choose one of these. All right, that's your choice. That's what you got to deal with. One of my favorite things about it is that it's one of the only RPG systems with class systems like that, where whatever class you choose for the character, that's their sprite for the remainder of the game, including cutscenes, including everything like that. Most other class systems, your class only takes shape, in combat. Like in Final Fantasy Tactics, your main character Ramza, when he changes classes, it doesn't alter his appearance. In Vandal Hearts, it alters the appearance of all your units, and that maintains. So it feels like an important, permanent part of their growth. Where in a lot of tactics games, that's not the case.
Okay.
So I really enjoy it.
Yeah. It's funny because you coupled 2 things in there. You said there's the permanence of it, and there's also the representation of it, basically. And so,
right.
I love the fact that, like you said, that when you chose a class, it was represented in all the cutscenes, it was represented in all the dialogue. Like you saw the class evolution and everything, and I thought that was really cool. The latter part though, with the permanence, I didn't prefer. Some people do like this, where it's like your decision really, really matters, so you better make the right one. I don't really like that. I like being able to change classes if I need to, or if I feel like I need to later on, or like, especially being like a new player. It's like, oh man, I chose this class, but I hate it. Like now I can't change it, and now I'm stuck with whatever class, unless I go back to a previous save. But You
Yeah.
know, shame on me if I didn't do that. So I do
Yeah,
like the
most of the-
representation. Go ahead.
Yeah, most of the other tactics games that introduce a class system like that give you the option to switch. Like in Final Fantasy Tactics, you can switch between any of the classes you've unlocked for that character at any. So it's not very common for them to be locked like that.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't mind if I take a hit. So for example, if I like switch a class, I don't mind there being some sort of repercussion for that. I just want the option. You know, like maybe I lose some experience, maybe I lose a level or something. I don't know. You know, whatever. Yeah, I just like the option. But yeah, I do like the fact that they're represented and everything is super cool. And I agree. That's a shame that Final Fantasy Tactics doesn't do that, and this game does, because it's like you're like, you want your character to look cool. You know, like when he levels up, you want him to look powerful and leveled up. You know,
so you'll definitely like But based on what you were saying, you definitely like Vandal Hearts 2's system, because in that there are no classes. You just equip armor, and that's based on that class. You get there's no permanence of class, but you still get to have the cutscenes where you get to see their armor. If I recall correctly, yeah.
I'm wondering if I'm gonna like Vandal Hearts 2 more, because it kind of sounds like they remedy a lot of the complaints I have about this game, like with it's like the turns, like it seems like you go one by one, or at the same time, I guess, as the enemy.
Yeah, it's simultaneous movement, but it gets easy to read. Like eventually you start to notice the patterns, and you don't even have to play like how I played. I played slow because I was going for a perfect, but there are some parts where like I didn't go for perfect. But if you don't go for a perfect round, the battles are a lot faster. Obviously, I mean, but yeah. So I think, yeah, based on what you're describing, yeah, I do think, but the original Vandal Hearts, I think it is a testament to how good it really is, though, that the second game really just built on top of it. It didn't have to, like, it wasn't made because, oh yeah, the first game didn't have its strengths. So even what we're listing now, it's like the core aspect of the story being the main strength, and even like the characters and story. I feel like that's the most important thing about Vandal Hearts, and and I'm glad to see that is a series tradition in it.
Yeah, and that's a good segue, because you just mentioned the story, and that's my next good point. And we kind of mentioned this earlier, but the story was one of my favorite things about Vandal Hearts, was the story. Even though, like I said, it wasn't like the deepest story or like the most complex, but I don't think a story needs to be complex in order for it to be good. And I think people mistake those two things. Like, you know, just because something is complex doesn't mean it's good. Yes, you can write a good story that is complex, but you can also seem to write a simple story that's also good. However, I think, funny enough, I think that's even harder to do, is to write a simple story that's good. And I think Vandal Hearts pulls it off pretty well.
Incredibly well.
So I just loved it. I love the betrayal. I love the deception. I love the characters. I love the emotion. I thought it was really good. You know, I felt involved when the story was playing out, and I felt interested. I didn't feel like I didn't like some games I'll play and I'm like, I don't care. Like next. This game I wanted to know like what was going on with the story. I really enjoyed it. Do you you feel the same way, Drew, like about the story? Or
one of the great things about the Vandal Hearts story is they don't try to subvert expectations. There's not a portion of the game where they try to fool the player into thinking something is not going to happen. We mentioned the betrayal portion. You get a nod in the game. The moment that character shows up in the game will tell you that character is there to spy on you and betray you. They don't try to sneak it by if you look at the dialogue. So that character shows up, and then the very next scene in the game is a monologue for the bad guys with Dolph and Hellspites, and he's like, yes, I've just put somebody into their party. So immediately that they're I'm like, oh, well, this person's just here to betray me. Cool. but it doesn't cheapen the reveal when that happens. And it's very hard for game makers and storytellers now to try to tell a good story without feeling like they need to bamboozle the player. Vandal Hearts story works so well because I know everything that's going to happen and I still want to watch it happen. It's still good enough that it makes you want to participate in the thing that you know is going to happen because you want to see it play out.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah, and you feel the same way, Rough Night?
Yeah, like you said, it's just one of those things that you know what's gonna happen, but it's one heck of an entertaining ride, and I guess in many ways it, like, you know those like swashbuckling movies of old, like it's just that entertainment value, like that sense of adventure. They're
Like the Three Amigos or something?
Yeah, like I'm thinking like Errol Flynn movies, like, you know, like Robin Hood, and like I love that. I love those. I love that idea. I love this old world where there's this adventure aspect to it. There's something so appealing about it. It's like it's something that it's so different to what. Like, I know with RPGs, like, when you look at Final Fantasy, of course, this isn't like the real world. Like, you don't play Final Fantasy VII and look at the real world. But there's something where I can at least kind of relate to it in a familiarity sense. Whereas with Vandal Hearts, it's like I'm being taken to another world full of adventure and lore, like this ancient lore that, like, wow, I'm learning something about this world, but there's no familiarity. I'm not a part of it in any way. I can't recognize it. Except I know it just feels so ancient, and when it gets uncovered, it's incredible.
Yeah. 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 The story was definitely a strong suit for me. The music, I felt mixed on, mostly because, like I kind of mentioned earlier, you kind of hear that same tune like over and over and over. Some of the music was good, some of it wasn't. I felt just kind of like in between about it. I can't remember the specific soundtracks off the top of my head since it's been a few weeks since I played the game. But I just remember not being like amazed, but I wasn't like hated. Yeah, I wasn't like, dude, this music sucks either. I actually enjoyed the battle music. I just wish it wasn't like the same one. Like if it was just like maybe, a portion of the battle music. But it's always the same one. That's the funniest part of this game for me is that music, dude. I don't know why. Just like hearing that soundtrack over and over. Was there a specific soundtrack that stood out to you, Drew?
No, not for Vandal Hearts. Music probably is one of the weaker points of the game. Yeah, I mean it's a great game. Nothing musically about it jumps out to me at all.
Okay,
nothing stands out as memorable. Anything like that. I
feel the same. I guess me and you are kind of on the same page. Then it wasn't like it did it a disservice. It just wasn't.
Right.
It just wasn't like that. Like, wow, I remember that. Like Donkey Kong Country or something.
It's no music where you're in the. It's not like Final Fantasy has the battle music where after an hour or so you're like humming along with the game while it does it. Vandal Hearts doesn't have any of those, at least for me.
Okay. Is there any soundtracks that stand out to you, Rough Night?
I'm definitely the odd man out here. I can definitely see that. I'm actually a massive fan of the Vandal Hearts soundtrack. Like I'm a composer. So and one of the soundtracks that actually inspired me was Vandal Hearts. So the world map theme, dun 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 da 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 da. Like I love that every time. That and the Port Town theme, where it's got that real heavy sound, dun, dun, but it's like a real deep sound. I like the battle theme a lot. Like I love it because it's got a lot of highs and lows. It's got this it's like da 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 da. Like there's so much. I'm a big brass fan. Like I love brass though. Like for me, I think the thing about Vandal Hearts it's interesting hearing how you guys aren't big fans, because I've seen divided opinions. I've seen people who are like, I am, it's alright. And I've seen people who actually don't even like it at all. I've actually seen people who are like, oh, I can't stand the brass. And then I've seen people who are diehard fans like me who are like, no, the brass is awesome.
Yeah.
And like it really stood out. It's one of those soundtracks. I think it's not going to be for everyone. I think it's clearly shown that it doesn't have its musical style is definitely on the polarizing side, which that's okay. I mean, it's like with any game, like there are going to be people who like certain aspects or not. But yeah, for me, I would say I love the soundtrack, and the part that stood out most for me was the world map theme. Oh,
Okay.
the map moving thing.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a fair. I figured that there's going to be somebody who really loved it. Yeah, I'm just somewhere in the middle with it. Yeah, and that's interesting that it kind of inspired you as a composer, that it was that influential for you. I think that's pretty cool. So let's go on to one of the other bad points, and this was the missables, and we kind of already mentioned it, that it has missables. I didn't say whether or not I liked it or not. And this is not exclusive to Vandal Hearts by any means, because there are so many games that have this same problem, where especially older games, where you like get to a certain point of the game and it's like you can't go back and fix your mistake. You're done. You've missed it. You missed it. You're done. Like, GG, go next. And so I don't like that about the games. I think it's just like, why not let me like go back and discover it? Why do I maybe it's for replayability in a way, like, makes you want to replay the game, but I don't know. I think it's not a great way to do replayability. I don't know if you guys care about missables or if it's something that bothers you. What about you, Drew? How do you feel about them?
So I don't necessarily mind missables. I am of the belief, especially in modern gaming, if you're going to make missables, you need to include a new game plus mechanic.
Yeah.
Okay. So that if people need to replay, at least give them the stuff that they already earned in the first playthrough to go back and do it. There are a number of RPGs, Tactics Ogre Reborn, which just got released on PS5 again a year or two ago. It's got a system into New Game Plus in case you miss stuff, because games like that, it's impossible to get everything on a single playthrough. Triangle Strategy is the same thing built into it. So while I think there's merit there, because as a Suikoden fan, if I'm not a fan of missables, I'm not a fan of my favorite franchise. There needs to be, in modern gaming, there needs to be some option to go back and deal with it. And right now, if you're doing an RPG, there's no reason that New Game Plus is not a standard feature for RPG at this point.
Yeah, I feel that. I think that's a good a good point.
Agreed.
Yeah. Did you get bothered by the missables at all in this game, Rough Night?
Yeah, I have to admit, when I didn't know much about like the collecting aspect, and when I found out, it's like, oh, wow, I miss every piece, and I didn't even notice, because you get so immersed in the game, and then the game's telling me, no, don't worry about the fun stuff of like experiencing the heat of the battle. You gotta take out some time to get a piece of like something that you need to get the true ending and the ultimate power. And it's like, but I'm having fun. Well, like, why can't I just? Because it's not like other games, at least in standard RPGs like Suikoden, and this is the difference I find, is that you're going on a journey. You're not on a grid in a battle. Like, encountering characters in Suikoden is very seamless, actually. Yeah, there are missables. I know it is easy to miss characters, and that can get annoying, but I felt more rewarded in Suikoden for just traveling, whereas in Vandal Hearts, when I learnt about the missables, I'm like, I don't know if I like the idea of moving on a grid, having to take time out of this engaging battle to do that.
Okay. Yeah, so you don't mind it in a different format, but if it's in this like tactical RPG format, it kind of bothers you because it like takes away from the battle in a way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
I can feel that. So like if it was like maybe it's like a you're on a world map or like maybe you're in a town and you're like you got to search through like a certain treasure or you got to play a mini game. That's fine because you're like doing that separately from the battle. And then there's the battle.
Exactly.
Okay, I get that.
I will say that I hate to sound like a broken record, but you would really love Vandal Hearts 2 because it actually does address that issue.
It sounds, I'm not going to lie, it sounds like Vandal Hearts 2 addresses a lot of the issues I have with this game, which is really funny that me and the developer.
And even maybe the music, because there actually is more variety in the music too.
That's funny.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. So I can't wait to play that game. So there was another bad point, unfortunately, that I wanted to bring up, and it's the missions, specific missions, and it's the ones that require you to get everyone to escape a town or a grid, even after all the enemies are dead. Dude.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen. I already won the battle. Just let me go to the next one, dude. Don't make me. And I know it only takes like a few minutes or like 5 minutes to do this, but it is so obnoxious to me. It's like, I've won. Please let me just go. And you have to like get every unit, and some of them are really slow, like the guardsmen. They only can move like so many units, and so you're like bringing them all up to the
early too. It's like mission 2 or 3, where they're like, get everybody to the church.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's like
I already beat her. Well, what's going on? Keep going.
Yeah,
Okay.
the first time it happened, I was confused. I was like, "What am I waiting for? Like, what's going on here?" Like, and then there was another one where you like have to go up 2 elevators, and like there's one on each side, and then you had to like get them all to. I don't even know if it was like a church. Actually, it was before one of the big battles that you have to do this.
Yeah, it's the temple.
Yeah,
and then yeah. So just those specific missions, I don't know why they did that way. They could have just. I don't know. Whatever. It's only specific missions that were like that, but they could have changed that. Whatever. Not a big. It sounds like you guys are kind of in agreement with me on this one. Like it could have been.
Yeah.
yeah. I couldn't agree more.
At least make it clear that that's what the goal is.
Yeah. And then it doesn't tell. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. If the instructions were like get every character to the church instead of reach the church, cool. I would understand that everybody needs to be at the church now.
Yeah,
but the instructions on the map are like get to the church, and I'm like, I got Ash at the church. What's going on?
Yeah.
Like, Diego needs to be there.
Awesome.
And they have to be on like a specific square. Like I've had characters like next to the church, but it wasn't like on the specific tile they wanted, and it was like I don't know. I was like,
it's got to be by the door.
I feel like it's such an unnecessary requirement. I think there might have been some inexperience when making the game, but it's like I know we think of like game designers as being like, oh yeah, this is your profession, but I feel like they were trying to figure things out from a design perspective.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, they were trying new things, and that's natural. It like as old as this game is, and being one of the OG tactical RPGs, it's gonna make mistakes. It has to walk so others could run in a way, in certain aspects at least. So I don't. When I review these games, yeah, I'm reviewing it as a modern day gamer, but I really don't. A lot of the time, I don't really fault them. Like realistically, I don't really fault them for having these flaws. It's just something you notice when playing it in the modern day. That's all.
Yeah.
So
cool. Yeah.
If I develop, even if I developed the game today, if I developed the game back then, I would have. I couldn't even imagine how many flaws. These guys did amazing with this game for the time. I just want to say that. And that's a little bit of a spoiler for my review, but for the time, I think they did great. Now, another thing, and this is kind of just me being me. I don't like demonic stuff in games like imagery, and that for some reason one of the spells has like a pentagram, and I know that's like this is going to be something that most people probably don't even care about. I don't actually, it's really weird. I like spooky and horror games, and I like creepy games that are really like scary. I just don't like like the stuff that's like demon-esque, like Diablo. Like I play Diablo 2, and there's like a pentagram
Yeah.
on the like the floor of Diablo, and I and like in the menu it has pentagrams. I'm like, I don't, and this is just because of my background. Not even like I can't. They're Japanese developers, so it's not even like something they would even think about. They're just like, yeah, here's
Yeah.
like a magic symbol. You know, this is like a magic symbol to cast magic.
Yeah.
All the other
Right.
magic symbols were fine. Honestly, there was just one spell that I just didn't like. And that's just a personal. Most people are going to be like, yeah, whatever, Lance. Like, you know, I understand that. I completely understand that. I'm not even. I just. I don't know. I would have chose a different one, but. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it on my good, the bad, and the mixed. Missions
I
don't.
speak a take on the animation one, but actually for a different reason.
Sure.
Like, even though my background's the same in the sense that, like, when it comes to stuff like that, it doesn't bother me as much as that. But I just didn't actually like animations like that in the game for immersion reasons. It was like, just, I don't know, when I see it in a tactical game, I actually just love the regular animations way more than some of the. Look, there were cool magical spells, but if I'm being honest, I just like the regular attack animations. Those were my favorite parts. Like, I enjoyed that more just because magic was more powerful. Attack animation, like, I love regular attack animations more.
Yeah,
rather than the spells.
visually
Yeah.
the attack animations had a lot more work put into them, which is strange for a tactics game. The magic animations were very basic.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like an ice one, or like a crystal one, and then there's like a lightning one, kind of. I think. I don't even remember all of them. You know.
There's the one that Alenia gets. It's like dark something where it's just black lines fly to the bad guys, and then they take a bunch of damage.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, so they weren't like terribly unique, or like maybe they just kind of
No,
threw
they
those in
were-
at the end. They're like, okay,
Yeah, they
here's
were very generic. For something
they were
being as
charming.
powerful as magic is, it was incredibly generic.
Yeah, they were charming, but they didn't make it for me. Like when I see stuff like that, and I will say, even with Vandal Hearts 2, I wasn't as impressed with battle animations, only because I don't know, for me, this is saying that when I see a Final Fantasy game, oddly enough, or even Suikoden's 1 and 2, games like that when I think of battle animations, I like those kinds of games for their battle animations because they're either really fast or they've got this real insane cutscene that it's like, damn, that's magic. But Vandal Hearts never hit me like that.
Yeah. I do notice the physical attacks are cool because they'll like swing their sword around or something, and they'll like do this little spin attack, and they'll stab you. It's like shh, you know, it's really cool.
Exactly.
You know, and it feels impactful. Like, you know, it feels like that character's getting hit. You're like, okay, cool. Like that person felt that, you know, attack. So
Exactly.
I agree there. But before we go into like my rating and all that stuff, were there any final thoughts that either of you kind of wanted to bring up before we kind of get into the rating of the game?
Sure. And is it?
Yeah, you go ahead, man.
Okay. I'll say this about Vandal Hearts in a very brief way, of course. I'm gonna say this is one of those games that it has an impact. It's one of those games where I can honestly say I've never played anything like it. For better or for worse, like, it's actually it's got its own identity. And that alone, I think, is an enticing aspect to it. Because you can play a lot of great games. There are a lot of games that they will feel similar to something you've played. But this is a game where it honestly does its thing and it just doesn't care. It's like, if people like it, great. And a lot of people have liked it, but it's got a flair about it. It's got something that just gets a player to say, well, it's got its identity and it sticks to it. And I think that's noticeable in what we've been saying throughout this whole time. We've noticed these unique aspects about it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of on board with that. You know, I think it was super unique. Even nowadays, like I was going to say for its time, but I think even nowadays it has a uniqueness to it. What about you, Drew? Is there any final thoughts you got?
Yeah, so Vandal Hearts is definitely a one-of-a-kind game, right? Is it perfect? No game is. But especially if you're a tactics fan, it's absolutely a must-play. You have to play it. Because the DNA of Vandal Hearts exists in every tactical RPG that exists beyond that.
Yeah. In
some form or fashion or capacity. It did class systems before Final Fantasy did, at least as far as tactics. It paved the way in a lot of ways, and except maybe Arc the Lad, I'd have to look at dates to see which one came first.
I think, I'd have to look at the dates.
I want to say Arc the Lad came out first, but they were roughly at the same time. But
yeah, they were very close.
Very close. The DNA of Vandal Hearts is in every tactical RPG that you have nowadays, right? Like in a lot of them that don't have like a world map system, like Vandal Hearts doesn't, they have the bartender option where you can go to the bar and talk to the NPCs. That's not in Arc the Lad. That's Vandal Hearts first, and a lot of tactical RPGs carry that over. That's in Final Fantasy Tactics, that exact thing, where you go to towns, talk to the bartender, go to the bar to talk to NPCs. So if you enjoy tactics RPGs, it's a must play. If you enjoy JRPGs, I would argue that it's a must play. It's an indelible part of the genre.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a must play for people who like tactical RPGs and JRPGs for sure. Yeah. Okay. And then, Arc the Lad was 1995, just for clarification from what I can see. So, like, maybe 1 year prior. Pretty close, though. So, so I'm going to ask you, and I'll start with you, Drew. What would you rate the game? Let's see. How many missions are in this game? No, you said there's 12 players, 12 classes, or 12?
Yeah, 12 recruitable party members. Okay,
so we'll rate it out of 12. Out of 12 recruitable party members, what would you rate the game?
I give it a 10 out of 12. It's a really good game.
That's pretty good. I mean, that's like a very solid score. That's like an 8.5 or something.
For sure.
Yeah, I always try to translate it in my head because even though I like doing the rating system, but I'm like, what does that translate to? That's a really good score though. That's like a solid game. Is it your favorite tactical RPG?
No, it's not. It's very good, but it's not my favorite tactical.
What's your favorite? Is it the Suikoden?
It would be Suikoden Tactics. If we're talking purely for gameplay alone, probably either Triangle Strategy or Tactics Ogre. But I'm very biased towards Suikoden Tactics because it's a continuation of my second favorite Suikoden game in the franchise, and it's my favorite franchise. So I'm pretty heavily biased towards it.
Okay.
But yeah, if we're going strictly with like gameplay and mechanics, I would say probably Triangle Strategy on Switch.
Okay, Triangle Strategy. Okay, is that a new one?
It's newer. I think it came out like 2020.
Okay, so relatively new, not retro.
Relative. Gotcha. If we're talking the best retros, probably Final Fantasy Tactics, specifically the PSP rebrand.
The War Lion. What is it?
War of the Lions.
Okay, yeah, Lion Wars. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Rough Knight? What would you rate the game out of 12 recruitable party members?
Okay. I hate whenever I have to do like numerical, but numerical ratings, but because like it's always like I don't know. But I'd say 10 out of 12 is a great score to give it because does it show like its imperfections? Yeah, I mean it definitely does. But the areas that really hit for me, just, the cartoonish visuals, the class upgrades, the story just being what it is, even if I don't consider a masterpiece story, I still enjoy it a lot. And the music for me, like, just I love its music. So yeah, I think all of that just puts into that category where I wouldn't say it's an amazing. Oh, it's almost amazing. It's one of those games that it almost reaches this legendary kind of status, but it maybe just gets pulled back by a few little things here and there where I'm just like, yeah, it did nag me, and it did detract a little bit, but I still adore this game. Like, I still love it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So both 10 out of 12. So pretty good score.
Sure.
Especially considering it being one of the first of its genre.
Yeah.
Now we'll get into my score. So as you know, I had some points of contention with the game. I think though overall, I want to say that it was pretty good. I want to say that it was fun, and I do intend on completing the game. I probably won't do 100% run through. I probably won't get the Ash Lambert Super Saiyan mode or whatever he's got going on. But I enjoyed my time, and I think the story is compelling, and I think that's, when it comes to JRPGs, that's like the strongest thing for most JRPGs is the story, the most important thing. And I think that's what what it has going for it. The the pacing of the battle system, or maybe the way it works, is just maybe not my favorite, and the certain like small things like having to get to that church and have all your party members, and maybe for me the personal preference of too many party members and stuff. But it's not bad, and I would say I liked it. I would say I mostly liked it. It's just I feel like some of those things aged a little over time, and naturally that's going to happen with some of these older games. There's very few older games that you go back and play and you're like, this is like still a near perfect game. And there are a few, but there's not a lot of those. And
Pretty rare.
It's pretty rare, and I'd say maybe one of those would be like Ocarina of Time could be one of those games that for me. And what else? Like probably like Mega Man X is like kind of one of those games. It's like it's got flaws. I mean, they got flaws, but they're just so darn good that I hardly notice them. I'm gonna give this game like a 6.5 out of 10, or not out of 10. Sorry, 7. Let's go to 7 out of 12 party members in that regard. So it's pretty good. Just has a couple of things that for me that just kept on taking me out of the game. If I wasn't emulating this, I probably would even have more of an issue with it, like not being able to speed up and stuff through the enemy turns. That would drive me crazy. I would just be like sitting there all day. But it's for its time. I mean, it's super impressive for it being one of the first tactical JRPGs. Like they're setting the road for, like, like I kind of said earlier, like it walks so other games could run. That's kind of how I felt about it. So in that regard, props to these developers. I couldn't imagine doing a better job for what they were given. So really, really good job. Really great class system. Just in the art style they went for was fun. It's good. So like a 7 out of 12. And so that being said, would I recommend people reload the game? Yes. If you're a tactical JRPG fan, 100%, I would say go and play Vandal Hearts. You'll love it. I think you'll have a good time. If you're a JRPG fan, just in general, I don't know. I think JRPGs are kind of all over the place as far as gameplay. It's hard to say. If you like turn-based stuff, maybe, like that could be a possibility. So yeah, very solid. Now. I wanted to give you two both if you have social media or any kind of socials, I wanted to give you a chance to plug them, and we'll start with you, Rough Knight. Do you have any socials you want to plug?
Yes, for my YouTube channel, I have a studio called Migrant Bird Studio. I also do game design myself. Funnily enough, I'm actually working on a JRPG. But yeah, so my two businesses are as a composer, but also as a game designer. So my composition. My music business is Migrant Bird Studio, which, yes, is a nod to Wild Arms, just like my username. I'm a massive fan of that. And my game design business is Bit Digital.
Nice. So Bit Digital and Micro Bird Studios?
Migrant Bird Studio.
Migrant Bird Studios. Okay, cool. I didn't know you're a game designer. That's really interesting. I actually did a little indie game myself, so I can relate to you on that. That's not that I made it, it's not that was a good one, but I made one.
I'd still love to check it out.
Yeah, it's just a little endless runner. It was like my first little baby. Now,
Nice.
Drew, where can people find you?
So I am on TikTok. I do D&D cosplay content under at Son of Giants. Part of a whole cosplay community. We do a bunch of different D&D style videos. And then my YouTube channel, I am on YouTube, youtube.com/@nat20game or nat20 gaming, NATONETY gaming. And that is a D&D podcast where I play in and DM. To say actual play isn't super fair, so we record our home sessions of D&D and I just post them up on YouTube if people want to listen to them. I don't do any big production edits. We don't play with the idea of people listening. So it's the exact table vibe that you get in a home game of D&D, and we just put it up for if anybody wants to listen to it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know some people got really popular with like that D&D stuff. I had no idea. There's a huge market for it. I didn't realize it was so popular until like 1 year. It was like, I was like, people watch this? And they're like, yeah, a lot of people watch this. This is like super popular stuff.
So Matt Mercer is one of the most prolific voice actors of all time, and he has taken a tremendous cut in his voice acting work because they make so much money off Critical Role that's his main job now.
Yeah,
he's the guy he voiced Vincent in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Like, he's a big deal.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love his voice in that. I'm actually playing that I'm actually at the end of the game, but yeah, I love his voice in it. He's awesome.
Is he the one that did JoJo's? Like, he's Jotaro or something?
Yeah, he's one of the JoJo's.
Yeah, I think he's Jotaro.
But if you watch Critical Role, there's 6 to 7 players in it, and every single one of those players is like a deeply prolific voice actor that's in all types of different stuff.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, almost all of them taking like a big step back from voice acting work because the Critical Role, like Twitch and YouTube, makes them so much more money than they made doing voice work.
It's incredible how things like that happen. You're just like, wow. You said you do voice work too, yeah?
I do. So I'm not anywhere huge yet, but I'm in a lot of like small products. I'm in a lot of Skyrim mods, things of that nature. So hopefully I'll be there somewhere, but I specialize in like accents and impersonations.
That's awesome.
Me too.
That's awesome. Oh, we got a bunch of voice actors. I've done some amateur work myself. Not that I'm any good, but that's so funny.
The number one thing that a lot of people don't take away from doing it is like the majority of voice work. People don't want you to do anything ridiculous. They don't want you to do anything crazy. They just want your voice on a recording reading their copy.
Yeah. That was mostly it. I did a couple of it was like acting stuff where I had to pretend to be people or like do like really silly stuff. But it was mostly like just reading like documents and like educational things, like kind of like what you were saying, just mostly speaking. So
yeah, like job training stuff, big money in voice work.
Yeah,
but I am in an audiobook as a middle-aged badger, so that's kind of fun.
That's cool. All right,
that's awesome.
So thank you guys for coming on. You guys have been awesome guests. I'm glad you listen to me not only say good things about one of your favorite games, but bad things. And I appreciate, the coming on and taking the time out of your day in doing this. So that was really cool. So thank you guys.
Happy to do it.
Thank you so much for having me. Had a great time.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely. It was a lot. Let me know. I'll be here for all 6 of the Weekend episodes too.
Okay. Sounds good.
And also, I need to know your view on Vandal Hearts too when you play. Like, I'm definitely here for Vandal Hearts too.
Yeah, I will. I definitely will. You made me very interested in playing that game after hearing everything about it. So that's super funny. All right. Well, I'll take care. Well, folks, that's game over for this episode of Retro Reloaded. Thanks for joining me on this retro adventure. If you loved today's trip down memory lane, then consider helping me keep the nostalgia alive by supporting me on Patreon at patreon.com/retro reloaded. You'll get early episodes, bonus content, and a chance to pick the next game that we reload. Feel free to let me know your thoughts about the podcast, and until next time, keep those controllers charged.